Welcome everyone to the 19th annual Missouri American Water MR340 race. We're about to spend a week together on the Missouri River for this race that we all love. Can't wait to see our old friends and make new ones. This race is all about you and everything you bring to the competition and to the community. On this video, we're going to run through some of the things that will keep you safe during this race, things that you absolutely need to know and consider to be able to complete the race safely. When you sign your safety waiver, you'll be checking a box confirming that you've watched this whole video. Please also share this with your ground crews. You also need to review all the great tips on the resources pages on the MR340 website. It's all crucial information. My name's Steve Schnarr. I'm the director of Missouri River Relief, the nonprofit that hosts the MR340. This race is one of our highlights of our year. Our mission is connecting people to the Missouri River, and we keep that mission central to everything that we do. The MR340 is right in line with that mission. Our work on the Missouri River involves thousands of volunteers. Over 23 years on the Big Muddy, we've worked with over 30,000 volunteers to remove over 2 million pounds of trash from the river. Our education programs have reached over 40,000 students and teachers. We love the Missouri River, and we can't wait to spend a week with all of you on it. The title sponsor for the Missouri American Water MR340 is Missouri American Water, one of the major drinking water providers in Missouri. They want all of us to know that nearly half of Missourians get their drinking water from this river. They are also Missouri River Relief's 2023 Sponsor of the Year, and they see the importance of introducing people to the river and taking care of this amazing freshwater resource. The folks at Missouri American Water are crucial behind-the-scenes partners on making the race possible. As we're checking in the day before the race, their crews are already hard at work getting the finish line prepped and ready for you. They love the race as much as all of us, and we're so grateful for their hard work making it happen. Here's a message from Missouri American Water.
Hi, I'm Rich Svinland, President of Missouri American Water. On behalf of nearly 700 employees that keep life flowing for 1 in 4 Missourians, I welcome you to the annual Missouri American Water MR340 race. Kudos to you on participating in the world's longest, non-stop paddle race. You should be proud of the dedication that got you here. We're honored to once again be the title sponsor of this incredible competition. Race proceeds help benefit environmental stewardship by raising awareness of the importance of our local rivers, particularly the Missouri River, which serves as a source of drinking water for millions of Missourians. Remember to stay safe and hydrated, have fun, and look out for one another. We look forward to seeing you at the finish line.
This race can't happen without the support of a long list of sponsors and partners, and we have some new friends joining the list this year. Rocco Audiovisual, based in the Bay Area in California, delivers top-notch audiovisual integration systems. Big Muddy Adventures is part of the River City Foundation and has been offering safe and eye-opening Big River guided trips for over 20 years. They sponsor the finish line party and are bringing the stage and band for all of us to enjoy. Alpine Shop has been providing top-notch outdoor gear and knowledge for over 50 years and has been an MR340 sponsor for most of the years of the race. Schlafly is one of the finest craft brewers in the state, and we're proud they support this race. Morpheus Hydration Systems and Infusions are new sponsors this year, and you may see their hydration van at the finish line. Sun Beach Outfitters and Llama Racks are longtime race partners and a great local Missouri source for all your paddling gear needs. And this year they have a raffle, which we will be, of a lot of really great gear that we'll be raffling off at the finish line party in St. Charles. The Nature Conservancy of Missouri are solid partners of Missouri River Relief, and they're hosting the Klondike Checkpoint. Definitely check out our website for all the amazing sponsors and partners that make this happen. Plus, many of you have been raising funds for Missouri River Relief as part of your registration and reaching out to friends and family to help support us. Here's some of our top fundraisers as of July 1st.
Hi, I'm Taby Lane, and I'm the race manager for the 2024 Missouri American Water MR340. You just heard from Steve Schnarr, our executive director here at Missouri River Relief, and what follows is the required viewing of the safety video for this year. Each racer is required to watch this video, and you will initial the top of your waiver when you check in, stating that you watched this video in its entirety, and that you also are familiar with all the rules and dispatches. The rules and dispatches can be found on the MR340 website. For the dispatches, look under News and Updates. The rules will be under the Resources tab. Those are two tabs on the website to get familiar with, as they hold a lot of information. I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks at Kaw Point Park and then in St. Charles at the finish line. Each racer is required to wear a PFD at all times while on the water. If a safety boat sees you without a PFD, they will ask you to put it on. Not wearing a PFD while on the water can result in a disqualification. This is Cinda and Maggie. Cinda and I were race partners in 2020. Shout out to Cinda. She and Maggie are wearing their life jackets. Yay! As you look in the picture in the background, you notice something. Zoom in and you see a PFD that automatically inflates when wet, inflating from the water at the ramp. A note to be aware of with this style of life jacket. Each boat is required to have a cell phone and the ability to keep it charged. This phone will be used to receive messages from the race organizers regarding barges, weather information, safety dispatches, etc., and if needed in case you have an emergency and need to contact us, Safety Dispatch 911. So be aware of messages coming in and be sure to keep your phone out of the sun so it doesn't overheat, and make sure that it is charged at all times. The majority of racers will use their phone as their tracking device. You can also use InReach or your spot tracker. All these devices need to be running on the RaceOwlRacer app. So go ahead and get that downloaded and set up and make sure that you're tracking. There are instructions on the MR340 website on how to do this. We will also have a Zoom this Thursday, July 11th, with John Marble to answer all your Race Owl questions. For your ground crew and those watching at home, they can go to the Race Owl app or the Race Owl website. Using your boat number or name, they'll search for the Missouri American Water MR340 2024 race and find you. This will let them know where you last checked in and what time you're expected at the next ramps. If you decided to not race, please let us know. If you decide to not start on July 22nd or 23rd, let us know and send a DNS text. If at any point you are racing and you have to stop or you can't continue, please send a text saying that you are DNF, did not finish. Each racer is required to have a ground crew. This can be in person or virtual. The ground crew is going to be your biggest advocate and a lifeline. Ground crews need to be checking in with the racers consistently throughout the race. A ground crew can help you check in manually if for some reason your auto tracking isn't working. Ground crews can also meet you at your planned stops to help restock your food and water. They can also keep you alert to weather or race conditions. And ground crews know you, so they should be the first ones who know if something is going wrong, if you don't seem like yourself. And then they can talk to you or alert safety dispatch or emergency personnel to check on you. Make sure that you have a ground crew and that they are up for the job. A ground crew is also a wonderful support during the 340 miles. They encourage you and keep you going. They can go out of their way and find a favorite treat as they're driving the back roads to meet you at a ramp. Make sure that your ground crew information is up to date on your registration. If it has changed, let me know so I can update your registration. Ground crews can be shared by different racers or boats. Each racer is also required to have a map of the Missouri River. This map can be on your phone or printed and laminated. On the MR340 website, we have a map that you can download and or print. If you have the map printed, be sure it's attached to your kayak or canoe or in your PFD pocket. The map will be important in case you need to call safety dispatch so that you can let us know your closest mile marker or landmark. It's also helpful when paddling to know what ramp is coming up next so you can communicate to ground crew, or what ramps you might need to make an unexpected stop at. So make sure you have a map, hard printed or on your phone, and have it ready to go in case you need. Each boat is required to have their number affixed to both sides of the front of their boat above the waterline. These numbers should be at least 3 inches tall and a good contrast to the boat color. Check out the roster on the MR340 site and make sure you and all your teammates have the right boat number. And if you have a notation beside your name or your team stating you need to choose a different number, please get that to me as soon as possible. Please make these as visible as you can. When a safety boat passes you, one task they will be doing is writing down your number and river mile so we have a note of the last place we saw you if you ever need to call for assistance. This race is non-stop. Many racers will choose to stop for a period of time to sleep, and often that is at night. But as the sun sets and you are on the water, you are required to have navigational lights. These lights must consist of a red light on the left or port side of the bow or front of the boat, and a green light on the right starboard side of the bow, front of the boat, and a white light on the stern, back of the boat. These lights allow other boaters and yourself to see each other on the river at night. The colors and placement will allow boaters to easily know your orientation and help both of you navigate appropriately. These are not headlights, so be sure your lights aren't too bright as it can hinder your night vision as well as blind boats behind you for miles. True story. Still bitter about that one. Each racer must have a small waterproof flashlight and chem light attached to the PDF, as well as a stronger flashlight in the boat. And these are for cases of an emergency. If you're in the water at night, having a flashlight or chem light on you on your PDF, and having a stronger flashlight if you need at night to light up sounds that you hear to see if it's a buoy or a log. Each racer is required to have waterproof matches or a lighter and carry a Mylar emergency blanket, rain gear, dry clothes in case of an emergency. Having dry clothes to change into if you are stuck on a bank, capsize, or get cold from being wet is important. Each boat should have a first aid kit and knife, and each racer should have a whistle attached to their PDF. Each racer must also fill out and turn in a waiver at race check-in on July 22nd, 2024 at Kaw Point Park. The waiver was in the second dispatch. If you missed it, all dispatches are posted under the News and Updates section on the MR340 website for you to refer to as needed. So go download that, sign it, and have it ready to turn in. P.S. It's a great idea to have your ground crew read through the dispatches as well. Each racer needs to carry food and hydration with them in their boat. Ground crews can help switch out supplies at ramps. And check out the food along the course on the MR340 website. You're going to hit resources and then click on race course map, and you will see there are many places where you can get food across the race. But you may not make all your planned stops or be there during the time that the food is being sold. So make sure you always have food and water with you. If something happens and you run out or you lose your water, flag down a safety boat. There's also a list of recommended gear that you can check out on our website. Things like an extra paddle and selective tape, toilet kit, a tarp or a bivvy, a rope for towing. Be sure you always have sunscreen, hat, and sunglasses. Each racer is required to check in on July 22nd, 2024 from noon to 8 p.m. at Kaw Point Park. Each individual person racing has to check in. There will be 4 stations for you to stop at. The first one will be waivers, where you'll bring your waiver printed and signed and just hand it in, or you're going to fill one out there. The next station will be information. You're going to double check all your personal information and your boat number and make sure it is correct. Be sure if you have any updates, go ahead and get that to me now so that our safety boats and safety dispatch can have accurate information. The next thing you'll do is go to the check-in station where you'll perform your first check-in with RaceOwlRacer. Kaw Point Park is your first checkpoint of the race. The last one will be Racer Bag. Here you're going to receive a bag with your race t-shirt in it and the safety card. Be sure to put that safety card in your PFD pocket. Put the numbers in your phone and have your ground crew do the same. We'll also have different sponsored tents there. Some will have things you can purchase, others will have plenty of things to give away, so be sure to check them all out. You can also leave your boat at Kaw Point Park on Monday night. It's recommended that you do this as the parking lot fills up pretty early Tuesday morning, and it's not a fun walk to walk your boat down the sidewalk. Do not leave any electronics or gear that can be easily grabbed and taken in the boat. Just leave your boat. Leaving your boat is at your own risk, but we will have police patrolling the area to watch over the boats. Solo racers will start at 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, and all other boats start at 8 a.m. Plan to arrive early enough to get in line, get in the water, and be ready to go at start. Next week we will send out a video with more detail of race start and race finish, along with our final dispatch. There are 7 checkpoints in the race. You must check in and out of these points: Kaw Point, Waverly, Glasgow, Jeff City, Herman, Klondike, St. Charles. Checking in and out doesn't mean you have to physically stop at each one. Most of you will paddle by while your phone, InReach, or Spot Tracker checks you in and out automatically. If for some reason your auto tracking isn't working, we will be contacting you. Ground crews can play an important role here. They will check on RaceOwl that they see you checking in and out. If not, they're going to notify you at the next ramp and see what's going on. If you need to check in or out manually, your safety card has instructions for how to do that in the correct format to do that. If you need help on the water figuring this out, ask a safety boat or send a message through RaceOwl or call us. There will also be 7 paddle stops on the route. These are ramps that will have an MRR presence in the form of volunteers, porta potties, and food. On the MR340 website, under Resources and Race Course, you will see in detail information on each of these ramps that will include food that's available, bathroom availability, and water. The list of the ramps will also include reaper time. You must beat the reaper to the checkpoints. The reaper will move at a consistent pace based on an 85-hour total length of the race and the cutoff times for the checkpoints. The main checkpoint most have to worry about is Waverly. You have to be at Waverly before 8 p.m. Plan accordingly to pass Waverly with time to spare. If the reaper passes you but hasn't reached the checkpoint, you're not out. If you can pass the reaper and beat it to the checkpoint, you're still in the race. At ramps, many people will decide to get out of their boat. This can be where hours are lost unintentionally. Don't get caught in that trap. Before you stop, set an allotted time. If it's going to be under 5 minutes, let the ramp volunteers know that you're resupplying and staying in the boat, and then touch and go. When you come to a ramp, there are some things you need to know. The boat ramps are not closed to normal boat traffic during the race. They remain open to recreational boaters and emergency crafts. The ramps must stay clear. If you exit your boat, your ground crew needs to help you get the boat off the ramp, either to the side or all the way up the ramp and away to the side. Do not clog the ramps. Don't leave gear on the ramps. Don't lay down and sleep on the ramps. Be aware of traffic needing to use the ramp. Oftentimes, boats are coming on trucks that are backing down, and you might be hard to see. Be aware at night when you're on a ramp and looking for a racer to not shine your flashlight straight out onto the water and blind racers as they're trying to come into the ramp. If you point your flashlight to the water, it's most likely pointing in the face of a racer. Any volunteers helping on the ramp are encouraged to wear a PFD. If you're a ground crew and you're going to be in water above your knees, a PFD is required. All children on the ramps and near the banks should wear a PFD. No volunteer, family, ground crew, racer, etc. can swim out to bring supplies to a boat or assist a racer. Racers cannot be assisted by a boat on water unless it's an MR340 safety boat. This means you can't have a boat trailing you or going ahead to cheer or drop off supplies. All support must come from the land while the boat is at the ramp or in contact with the land on the bank. When you get out of your boat at a ramp, you may not have your land legs right away. Lean forward and be careful on the slick concrete. As you're approaching the ramp from the water, run through your checklist in your mind. Unhook hydration. Be ready to lift the rudder. Get the gear situated so you can get out of the boat. The last dispatch included links to a Missouri River navigational video and a ramp-to-ramp video. Be sure to check those out. These are great resources filled with wonderful information that's more in-depth than the safety video. Next week, we will send out our final dispatch, and it will include a video with race start information, how to launch, where to launch, race finish line information, route updates such as barge, traffic, bridge construction, and it's going to have the most up-to-date information on the race course. We tried to make the safety video not multiple hours and focus on information everyone must hear for safety and insurance reasons. We hope to build our resource and video database to include more detailed resources that can be checked out anytime and not in the safety video. We know that learning to navigate and checking out the ramps is super important in training and comes too late when sent in the safety video. And so we provided those earlier in the year. And we know some may not care about the in-depth details of checking in and out or race finish yet, so we're sending that closer to the race. So thank you for the feedback you've given as we strive to improve each year. See you in a couple weeks. Wow.
Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Tosie and I'm the Operations Director for Missouri River Relief. This will be my 9th year working the MR340 with a safety boat kind of dispatch scene, and I'm really excited for this year. This year I'll be stationed at the Lewis and Clark Boathouse working as the safety dispatcher. The first topic I wanted to cover was safety boats. On the water, safety will be provided by a team of nearly 20 motorized boats, strategically placed at boat ramps, as well as slowly moving downstream with the racers throughout the course. These safety boats are available to you if you have an issue or run into an emergency on the river. It's quite an eclectic group of boats, but you can identify them by their orange MR340 safety boat flag. Many of these boats will be moving downstream with you at low to no wake speed. If you do have one of our safety boats pass you with speed, know that they're most likely responding to a distress call and are making their way to the scene. They'll be moving quickly to help reduce their wake by being on plane, which is when the least amount of boat is in the water, reducing displacement and therefore their wake. You'll quickly find out that there's going to be whole stretches of hours that may go by without seeing a safety boat, and that's okay. They're typically moving around the same speed as racers or off responding to calls, but just because you don't see one doesn't mean that they aren't generally around. At our biggest spread between first and last place paddlers, we're covering around a 200-mile race course. So with that in mind, remember that we are all each other's safety boats. Look out for one another, and if you're able, provide that first level of assistance to a friendly paddler in need while we're getting our resources in place to respond. If you are in distress and a safety boat is nearby, you can signal them by waving both arms overhead to get their attention. Waving those two arms above your head is the universal sign for I need help. So if you're on shore and you're trying to get a safety boat to come to you, waving those hands over the top of your head or whatever else you can do to get their attention will do the trick. If you need assistance in the dark, flashing your light is the equivalent of waving your hands during the day. Keep in mind that our safety boats are also tasked with checking in on racers during the heat of the day and late at night. So giving them a simple thumbs up or a verbal acknowledgement can really help move things along. If they see a boat pulled over on the bank or a sandbar, they're probably going to be coming over to check on you. Responding to them with a quick thumbs up will let them know that you're good and that they can move on. They're also going to be recording your boat number, the time, and the river mile they saw you at. Safety boats are also able to offer drinking water or other forms of hydration, cooling needs, information on the next boat ramp or checkpoint, sunscreen, and of course, rescues. With rescues, safety boats are only able to ferry boats and racers to the nearest safely accessible point on shore, at which point the racer can choose to continue racing without penalty. However, safety boats cannot provide downstream assistance or propulsion of any kind without disqualification of the paddler. So my role as safety dispatcher for the MR340 is to monitor weather, river levels, also text race updates regarding barges and weather, and of course respond to distress calls coming from paddlers and ground crews. If you do run into an issue, you're able to call the safety dispatch number located on your safety card each racer receives. Extras will also be available to ground crews, so put these numbers in your phone. Safety dispatch will then use their data to figure out which safety boat is closest to you and your location and send them your way. In general, we look for safety boats that are upstream of any incident to reduce our motorboats moving upstream through packs of racers. When calling safety dispatch, start with that top number. If you don't get someone, try the next phone number, and if needed, the third option. As you are calling, it's really helpful for you to have some information to share about your location, your boat number, or the boat number of the person you're calling on behalf of, and of course the reason for the call. Having a little bit of that information on the front end, even if you need to write it down before you call, is super helpful. But of course, don't let that stop you from calling. If you're in an immediate medical emergency, that is the one time you should call 911 first. You're going to want that same kind of information prepared, including the best location, even like maybe the nearest mile marker, side of the river, landmarks, things like that before making that call. And if you do call 911 because of something happening on the race or a medical emergency, we really need you to call safety dispatch right after that. We would also encourage you to share our safety dispatch number with the emergency responders so we can assist them with the location since we're most likely tracking you. However, in most situations you experience on the race, just calling the safety dispatch is absolutely the first thing to do. So, in conclusion, remember that our safety boats are out there to help and protect you. The safety boat crews are instructed to come and check to make sure you're okay with a simple thumbs up. If you're just stroking along, paddling strong, we're not going to bug you. But if the paddle is in your lap and we don't see you doing anything physical over a period of time, or you're on the bank, that's where we're going to come by and request that thumbs up. Good luck, everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Dave Combs. I'm the fleet manager here at Missouri River Relief. Today I'll be talking about the hazards you will encounter during the race. Bridges are one of the first hazards you will encounter after the starting line. When you navigate through the bridges, stay in the channel and leave plenty of space between you and the bridge pier. Log jams often occur on the piers, creating turbulent water. Seems like there is always construction on a bridge somewhere on the race course. When you encounter bridge construction, stay in the channel and keep an eye out for tugboats moving equipment. When you encounter a bridge, the middle of the channel is marked with a green sign. At night, the channel is illuminated by a green light. The bridge piers are marked with a red light. You can see bridges from a long way out, so you will have plenty of time to assess the conditions and get lined up. Dikes are rock structures placed in the river by the Corps of Engineers. The dikes direct flow of water and maintain the channel. In low water years, they are easy to see. In high water years, you can float right over them. The real problem is when the river level is somewhere in the middle. There are two types that you will encounter, wing dikes and L dikes. Wing dikes stick out perpendicular to the channel and direct the water to the outside bend. The L dikes are parallel to the channel and direct the flow to the opposite bank in a crossover. Trailing dikes can run parallel to the shore for a long expanse. There are not breaks in these long stretch of rocks to cut through. Buoys are placed in the river to mark the channel. They are held in place by a large concrete anchor and a steel cable. There are two types, red nuns with a pointed top and green cans with a flat top. Keep the green cans on your right and the red nuns on your left, just like the channel markers on the bank. High water can move them out of place. They are not as reliable as the day markers on the bank. Buoys are actually quite large, and sometimes driftwood piles up on the cables and can make the buoy bob in the water or become partially submerged. Look for clues on the surface. You may see a V or some turbulence above the buoy, or something that looks like is jumping or splashing. Barges are big commercial boats that are restricted to operating in the channel, have large blind spots, and have limited maneuverability. We are in communication with the barge operators leading up to and during the race. The number one thing that the pilot asks for is that you stay out of the way and be predictable. Have you ever been driving down a country road and a squirrel jumps out in front of you? The squirrel starts going across the road, but then it darts back. It goes left, it goes right. It can't decide where to go. You have no idea what this squirrel is doing. On the river, barge captains see us paddlers as the squirrel. So don't be a squirrel. Make your intentions known early and get out of the channel. Stay visible and stay out of the channel when passing a barge. You will encounter barges throughout the race. In general, the bigger the barge, the bigger the wake. Also, a barge moving upstream is going to create a bigger wake than a barge moving downstream. Either way, when you see a barge, move out of the channel, prepare for waves. If you need to, you can duck behind a wing dike to avoid some of the bigger waves. You will also encounter sand dredges. They are anchored just off the channel and are sucking sand off the bottom of the river. They have anchors on steel cables that can stretch out pretty far from the boat. Keep an eye out for the anchor cables and stay far away. At night they stop working, but they remain anchored in place. They are supposed to be lighted, but it may only be a small white light, so it's not always the most visible. If barges are not operating, they will be parked along the bank. They are easy to see during the day, but more difficult at night. They are also supposed to have a light, but that's not always the case. Just give them plenty of room and you'll be fine. There was a lot in that section, so here's the main points. Barges have limited maneuverabilities and can generate a large wake. Make your intentions known early so the pilot does not have to guess at what you are doing. Give them plenty of room. You will likely encounter some recreational boat traffic during the race. They might be out fishing or just relaxing on the river. Paddlers can be difficult to see, so if it looks like that boat is coming right at you, here are a couple things you can do to make yourself more visible. Wave your paddle above your head and spin the blade. The reflection off the paddle should catch their attention. Although they still make a wake, it's going to be much smaller and dissipate much faster than a barge wake. The Missouri River is home to many types of fish, but there is only one that jumps up to meet you. The silver carp is an invasive species that jumps out of the water when frightened. Odds are this will also frighten you. The fish is typically found in the slower water behind wing dikes or in tributary mouths. You probably won't come across any, but just be aware that they are out there. Next up are some environmental hazards. Heat can take you out of the race. Be sure to protect yourself from the sun and stay hydrated. When I race, I have on long sleeves, covered my legs, have on a hat, and even gloves. It may seem counterintuitive, but keeping the sun off your skin can keep you cooler. This also protects you from sunburn. Remember to use sunscreen on anything that is not covered up. If you get hot, splash a little river water on yourself to cool off. If you are really feeling the heat, pull over and take a quick dip. Once the sun sets, you have a curious problem. Cold. You have been working all day to stay cool, only to find out that at night you are getting chilly. The problem is made worse if you get wet or if it's raining. If you find yourself getting cold, it's a good time to put on that dry layer, eat some food, and keep paddling. This is also a great time to break out that king-size candy bar. The race takes a lot out of you, so be sure you are staying fueled and hydrated. You may be surprised to find out that people forget to eat and drink. Stay ahead of the curve. It is very difficult to recover from a nutrition or hydration deficit. Your ground crew can help by monitoring what you are eating and drinking. If you run out of water between ramps, flag down a safety boat. They generally have some stuff to help you get to the next ramp. Be sure to educate yourself and your ground crew on the signs of heat-related illness. Catching the symptoms early is key. Once you start to decline, there may not be enough time to recover. Here in the Midwest, storms pop up out of nowhere. It is important to keep an eye on the weather. You can probably set a weather app to give you a warning of an approaching storm. This is also a great job for your ground crew. They can keep an eye on the weather and update you as needed. If you start to see a storm building, now is the time to take action. Don't wait until the storm is on top of you. Put away your sensitive electronics, grab your rain jacket, and make a plan to get off of the water if needed. If you see lightning or hear thunder, you need to get off the water immediately. We all know that water and electricity don't mix. Pull over, secure your boat, and get up on the bank. Make sure you have the necessary supplies with you in case you have to wait out a storm on the bank. Do not paddle in fog. Fog is very dangerous. The right mix of cool night temperatures and no breeze can quickly create a zero visibility scenario. Pro paddler might know where you are, but if you can't see, you won't be able to avoid hazards. Anyone that has paddled in fog regrets it immediately. Barges have a lot of instrumentation like radar and charts. Many times they can keep going, but there is no way that they are going to see you in your tiny boat, and you for sure won't see them. Our safety boats can't operate in the fog either. It's simply too dangerous. Find a place to pull over, take a nap, rest up. The fog will lift.